are going to embark on the exciting journey to the world of mobile app development. And I assume that we'll be starting from scratch, and they don't have absolute knowledge about the fascinating field of mobile app development. And after this session, you'll be able to have a clear understanding of what mobile app development is all about and how it unlocks the potential of the digital era. So let's begin by this is the overview of what today's session covers. So we're going to go through about we have the background information, the introduction to mobile app development, and we will also trigger about the benefits of mobile app development, and as well as key technologies and tools, mobile app development process, approaches in mobile app development, how to develop and the actual application, and then later I'm going to demonstrate of the project which I have already built, or I can say in other ways, which I'm currently building. And later on, we'll have the conclusion. That's the ending of our session. So the background information, like what is mobile app development? So you might be wondering how the applications are made, like whenever we play a game on our phones or connecting with families and friends, watching soccer online, etc. So what is mobile app development? The mobile app development is a process of creating software applications specifically designed to run on mobile devices like smartphones and tablets that performs a wide range of functions. For example, games, entertainment, etc. So, you know, every day from beginning from the transportation, entertainment, and every information we trigger in every day, like businesses, etc. We almost use the digital, phones. And these mobile apps, it helps to improve the businesses, etc. Keeping information about the business. For example, we have the e-commerce applications like Alibaba. I think they have a website and they also have the application. So that's the example of the actual application. So later on, we go to the introduction. So in this digital era where smartphones and tablets are everywhere, mobile apps have become an essential part of our lives. They allow us to do so many things, like playing games, improving our daily businesses, connecting with our family and friends, for example, WhatsApp, as well as storing relevant information. So for example, if there is a certain school, they have to keep their information. They will use the database, and for easy, like installing and collecting of data from either the students or everywhere, they can easily use a mobile application for that, and they can have several buttons whereby when they click those particular buttons, they will be able to save their relevant information in a certain database. So developers think about what the app will do and how it will look like. And furthermore, they start building the app by writing special instructions for the phone or a tablet to understand. So this mobile application development, if you are performing this particular field, like if you are developing a certain application, the person that is developing particular application is called a developer. So there might be a number of applications out there, and some of them they might be developed by one individual or a number of individuals, which are developers. Thereby they use a certain specific programming language or frameworks, and which later on they can come up with an actual application. So continuing our introduction, once the app is released, developers keep taking care of the application by making updates to make the application even better. So you might see you might be downloading applications. For example, Apple Store, if you are using iOS or iPhone. And on the other hand, we have a Google Play Store, whereby you can easily download your application, music players, etc. So after the developers of that particular music player or any application you are using, they further take care of the application. They don't just like release the application and that's all, but then they have to take good care of the application, like keeping track of how many users are using our application out there and how is our application performing and how can we improve our application even better to work perfectly so that the users should still be enjoying the application. Because, you know, people, they want new things. They cannot keep doing like repeating the same process every day. So they need to update and make the application even better so that the users of that particular application, they should not lose interest. So that was our introduction. Now we have to look on the benefits of mobile application development. So there's a number of benefits whereby we can improve our daily lives by using this mobile application development. So the first thing is competitive advantage in businesses. As we all know that there's a number of businesses we can do out there. For example, we can open a certain shop, a coffee shop, or any shop. Like you can be selling any kind of products. So to make your business even better, you can easily use mobile applications that can be available to any user, regardless of their corresponding locations. So even a person from Blantyre can trigger your information. For example, I can give you a better example of Facebook. They added this feature of marketplace whereby people can easily post their businesses over there. So with this particular Facebook application, people are able to gain a competitive advantage in their businesses. So that was the first one. The second one is to improve efficiency and productivity. You know, once we have a certain mobile application in our organization, business, etc., our company. So this mobile application improves efficiency of that particular organization or business which we are performing right there. And the second, and the third one is the third point is we can have offline access and convenient. There is a number of applications whereby there's a number of softwares, for example, websites. You need internet connection in order for you to use to trigger any information on a web. But with mobile applications, you can easily use that mobile application even offline. I can give you an example of mobile games. Developers can easily create an offline game whereby a number of users can download and use that particular mobile app or a game offline without need for internet connectivity. For example, nowadays, in the past, when we would, the moment when we are using WhatsApp, we couldn't use WhatsApp without like the actual internet bundle. But now they introduced the actual WhatsApp bundle, whereby you can use that. You can buy the WhatsApp bundle, which is affordable, and use that particular mobile app. So this is just like an overview of how some of these softwares or mobile applications are developed. And then last but not least is we can benefit with mobile app development by directing and communication. Just like I said before, let's say you have a business somewhere. For example, you're selling clothes or something. For you to have a direct market or communication with new customers, you may post that particular business on a certain mobile app like Facebook Marketplace. And people, when they see your product, that this product is good, the quality is nice, you can easily get the competitive advantage, which was the first point, and you are getting the direct market. You can easily, the person, when they like your product, they can easily contact you and you will have the direct communication with that particular customer. So the last one is entertainment. So mobile applications, some of the mobile applications that are used for entertainment. Nowadays, especially teenagers, they don't just like staying at home or doing school, etc. But then after that particular thing, they will need, at the end of the day, they will need something to entertain themselves. Because I understand most of them, they don't read news, etc. So they need something like to entertain. You can easily build an application for the people to watch football. And also, it's not just about mobile games, but some get entertained with, I think, animes. So you can easily create a mobile application for that particular thing. So let's go further to the key technologies and tools used in mobile app development. So in mobile app development, there is a vast number of programming languages to come up with a product or the actual application, which is a mobile application. So in order for you to come up with a particular mobile application, there's a number of programming languages out there which you can choose according to your choice and use that particular mobile language. So the example of these particular mobile languages are Java for developing Android applications specific, and I think it uses the Android Studio as its integrated development environment. We'll go on the integrated development environment later on, but now we're just focusing on the programming languages. So all these languages that are open source, that means everyone can easily learn and be able to use that particular programming language for developing the mobile applications of their choices. So another example of this programming language is which is also open source, but it is OS applications. So these are the applications, the mobile applications, which can only run on an iPhone device. And after that, we have Kotlin, used for creating Android applications. And on the other hand, we have Dart. Dart is also a programming language, just like Java or Kotlin or Swift. But this one is used by a certain framework for creating this particular mobile application, which can run on both iOS or Android systems or Android devices. So later on, we're looking at the integrated development environment, which is also a key technology in mobile application development. So the integrated development environment, also known as IDE, it is an environment which that allows, or it enables the programming language or the developer to develop a particular mobile application using the programming language of their choice. So the integrated development environment, it helps the developers to write their codes inside that particular environment. So it is a certain environment that comes with all set of how you can develop a certain or a particular Android or iOS application. So the examples of these IDEs or integrated development environment is Xcode and Android Studio. I think you might have heard about Android Studio. So it's one of integrated development environment, which allows the developers to write codes of Java or Kotlin or Dart. Furthermore, another key technology is, or another tool, the frameworks. Apart from programming languages, frameworks also plays a big role in mobile application development by easily integrating or creating the application which can run on multiple devices. I can give you an example like Flutter framework, which is used to develop mobile application, but these mobile applications can also run on any kind of device like iOS or Android. And furthermore, it can also include the desktop as well as the website part of that particular application. So the frameworks covers a lot rather than just using a specific programming language like Java, and you are building the applications for Android only. But frameworks helps you to develop the applications that will run on multiple devices without any specific, with a centralized code, without having to repeat the same code like twice. Let's say if you're building a music application, if you want to run that particular music application on Android, you will have to develop that particular application using Java. And on the other hand, the same code will have to convert it and write it again in Swift in order for that particular application to run on an iPhone device. So frameworks plays a big role in mobile application, and this is what we are focusing much. Going further to the key technologies and tools, we also have the back-end services. So the back-end services, you can easily understand this by an example of, let's say, WhatsApp. WhatsApp, everybody knows WhatsApp. So WhatsApp is the application whereby a number of people can properly. We need a back-end services whereby, in order, let's say, for example, you are sending a message to your colleague, like, hey, that particular message, in order for that particular message to reach your colleague, it has to go the back-end service. And after that, the back-end service, it acknowledges that particular information to the specified location where the message is going. So examples of this particular backend services are Firebase, which is more like a database where to store information. And on the other hand, we have AWS, which is Amazon Web Service. It also works as a backend service in mobile application development process. So finally, we also have the version control system. So the version control system, these are systems that allows a number of developers to communicate. Like, let's say, for example, if we are developing a certain application, if a number of individuals are developing a specific application, in order for you to share work easily, we use version control systems, whereby you can divide your work in terms of the number of developers or individuals which are there, and also according to the particular application which you are developing. So after your work is done, you can easily store that particular code in the cloud. So it's a cloud system whereby it allows the collaboration of number of developers if they are developing a specific project together. So let's look on the mobile app development process. How is the mobile application developed? So This involves a number of typical stages of mobile app development. There is a stage, there is an initial stage whereby you start with in order for you to reach the final stage of your development process. Just like the way roads are built out there, you first have to plan on how you can build that particular road. And then after coming with that particular idea, you will have to turn that particular idea into the actual thing. So same applies here. The first thing in mobile application development is coming up with an idea, ideation and conceptualization. So ideation is like you may have a specific idea. Let's say, for example, I want to develop an application for a specific school, whereby it will it's gonna allow the students or the outsiders to apply for a specific field in that particular college or school. And then that's the idea now. So after getting the idea, now you have to you need to have the concept. You need to understand the concept of that particular idea, so that when you are explaining to the developer of that particular application, or if you are the developer of that particular application as well, you need to understand that particular idea in a process called conceptualization. So after this, we may have wireframing and designing. So wireframing is like having the overview of how this particular idea is gonna look like. And furthermore, you design on how that particular concept can become into reality. So after this wireframing, we have development and coding. So this is the actual process of transforming that particular concept or idea into reality from the design which you have. So that's when the concept of writing codes or choosing a specific programming language or a framework becomes into place. And after that, we may have testing and quality assurance. So testing is like testing that particular application according to our idea which we had. So we may test that particular application if it is working properly as we needed the app to perform. So on the other hand, you may also look at the quality of that particular application. And you may think of how if you need to improve the working process of that particular application, or you see it as a whole, like it's working properly. The whole application is working properly. So we also have the deployment and launch. After you've tested the application, that's when it becomes the process of deploying the application, like getting the application ready to use on the mobile devices. So after you deploy that particular application, you may launch that particular application. So after we have deployed the application on, let's say, for example, Google Play Store, we may have this, the process called maintenance. This is the process of we are updating and improving the quality of our application comes into place. So I was just giving you the overview of the mobile app development process. So now let's look at one by one. The ideation and conceptuation. As I told you, that is a process of coming up with an idea or a concept. So it enables an individual to come up with a specific idea that is later to be implemented. So it's like bringing up the whole idea. Just like when the people are about to come up with a certain movie, they will have to they will need to have a concept or an idea, and after having that particular idea, they may write scripts, etc., and later on they may capture the movie. So same applies here. The idea is the ideation process is very important in mobile app development. So later on, wireframing. The wireframe, here is how the wireframe looks like. So you may design, you may bring up all the modules, every information you have thought about of how the application is going to look like, or how it is going to perform. What tasks is it going to perform? It is generally into this field or what? Like, for example, we have hospitals, banking, businesses, entertainment, etc. So wireframing and designing of the application is it's more like the app's structure, the application structure, and the user interface of how the particular application is going to look like. So it involves creating a visual blueprint or a skeletal framework of the application screens and navigation, like buttons, etc. When the user triggers this button, this how the other field is going to look like, or the other part is going to look like, and the navigations, etc. Like the whole flow of our applications. So development and coding, it involves the actual implementation of the application's idea to come up with a working system that operates under the particular ideation or a concept. So a number of programming languages are used for this purpose. So it allows the interaction of the user of the application and its corresponding hardware or devices. So this more like writing the instructions on how the actual device or the hardware of the particular Android or an iOS device corresponding to the actual application you are developing with the help of certain programming languages, for example, Java. So Android Studio is a common IDE, which means Integrated Development Environment. So used for developing Android applications using Java programming languages, etc. So this is just the IDE, which I have talked much about, like where the environment, where the developers are able to write codes and come up with the actual implementation of the application. So furthermore, let's look on the testing and the quality assurance. So this is a crucial stage that ensures the application is functioning properly upon the correctness of specified tasks, and it provides a simple user experience. So by user experience, it means that the application, it is simple to use, because people, they don't like complexity when it comes to using the mobile applications. Whenever the user doesn't understand the application properly, they may take that away, and they may lose interest of using that particular application. So they no longer like confusions in mobile apps. So therefore, we need to apply simplicity in our mobile apps. So the other application should be simple to use to the user. And later on, the deployment and launch process. So this is another process of mobile application development. So once the application has successfully passed the testing and the quality assurance, it is ready for deployment and the launching. So there's a number of places whereby you can deploy your application. A good example is an Apple Store and Google Play Store. So the application, it goes through the review process and it is approved to become available to all users in the world to download on various platforms. So the common platforms where you can download these applications, there are App Store and Google Play Store. So that was the mobile application development process. So since we have understand the whole process in mobile application development, now I may introduce you to approaches in mobile application development. So there's these three approaches where the mobile application development is taking place. So first one, Android, second one, iOS, and we also have cross-platform. So the Android is an open source and Linux-based operating system for mobile application, for mobile devices such as phones and tablets that you use to run Android application. So I think we are all familiar with the term Android because it is an operating system. It is used to operate our devices. So it provides a large number of things where we can trigger about, but it works better with mobile applications. So with the help of mobile applications such as calculator, whereby we are able to perform our calculations over there. That's just an example of the mobile application that helps this Android operating system to operate properly or to have interesting parts of it. So later on, we also have the iOS. So the iOS stands for iPhone operating system. So by its name, we can easily understand that it is the operating system that is designed for integrating Apple hardware and its corresponding Apple mobile applications. So another one is cross-platform. When I say cross-platform, I mean every platform which is out there, our software is able to run on that particular approach. So we have React Native and Flutter framework that helps us to run these mobile applications on both Android as well as iOS platform with a single code base. So you don't have to repeat the same code once again. So here I may introduce you to how to develop an actual app. So the first step in actual development of a specific application is by selecting and installing the framework or IDE along its programming language to be used. So we have looked on the process of mobile application development. So inside that process, we introduced the concept of implementation or coding the actual application. So this section will help you to understand on how we can implement that particular process of bringing that idea into reality. So when we are implementing the idea based on the design, we may need to select our specific programming language or a framework, as well as the integrated development environment to use. So for example, in this case, we have selected Flutter as well as Android Studio. So after choosing the IDE as well as the programming language or the framework, we may have to open that particular IDE. So in this case, as I told you, we are using Android Studio. So we may open Android Studio and click on the create a new project. So specifically a Flutter project. So after creating that particular project, you may need to give it a name. For example, skin disease detection system or skin disease mobile application. So the application used to to detect the kind of diseases on the skin. So later on, after giving the name, you may click finish, and so that the IDE should create the necessary files for you to get started with in order for you to start developing that application. So with the help of XML in Android Studio, you can easily design the layout of how the actual application will look like. So, for example, Flutter has also its designing language, which is inside. So since Flutter is a framework, it provides all necessary codings of how you can create your application. So for example, here I have just given XML an example for creating like the design of the actual application. But mostly XML works properly with Java. So XML is it's more like it's not like a programming language as such, but it is a language which is used to design the user interface of how the actual application will look like. But then the programming language, for example, Java, it helps to apply functionality on the design of the application. For example, you can design a button using XML, and you can perform a specific task or a functionality with the help of Java programming language. So in Flutter framework, Flutter itself has a designing language called Flutter. since it's a framework. And then it uses a Dart programming language to apply to implement functionality through buttons or any text fields or any forms. So that's how to perform the designing or the coding of our application inside the integrated development environment. So after writing all the codes of designing and applying functionalities on our layout of how our actual application will look like, we may need to run and test the application based on its specified working process. So the IDE comes with a certain section whereby you can easily install an emulator. So emulator, it helps you to test that particular mobile application. It gives you more like the hardware processing unit of the actual device, either an iOS or the Android application, Android device. So for example, in Android Studio, you may have a certain part where you can install an emulator and you can run the application, and that application will automatically connect to that particular emulator and run on that emulator. And also you can be able to test that particular application based on its working process specified. So that is how the implementation of our mobile application can be done. So in our overview, we had a certain section where I wrote like a demo application. So this demo application is the project which I am currently working on, called Skin Disease Detection System. So it contains artificial intelligence in it, which I used Python, which is also a programming language, but it works better with artificial intelligence. So since I'm not here to like give you the overview of artificial intelligence, but then this is just a part of my actual application development process. So the application will be able to detect the different kind of diseases on the skin. So the application, I have used the Flutter as my framework for developing this particular application, for designing and applying functionality of the application. So this is a design of how the application looks like. So it have the picture, the text, as well as a certain text whereby when the user of the application will be able to capture his or her skin or upload an image from gallery. And after uploading that particular image, the application will have the background process of that particular artificial intelligence I was talking about. So it will trigger that particular data you have given it, for example, an image. So it will look from that particular image, and it will give the feedback with a green text, as you can see on the screenshot of the third screenshot. So yeah, this is just a demonstration of how you can